This is day 3 of our March Madness, a month of parent empowerment with Community School District 7 in the Mott Haven section of the South Bronx. And every day we're bringing you something truly amazing. We've got some partnerships that I'm very excited to share with you all. If you are able, I would love it if you would show us your beautiful faces in whatever locations you're in. It's not mandatory. The biggest thing that's mandatory is that you enjoy yourself. All right. So I want to take a minute. Hello, it's so beautiful to see you. I would like to take a moment to introduce a wonderful, dear friend of mine. We first interacted a couple of years ago at one of the middle schools here in District 7. It was middle school 224, where I was a guest of a show and I had no idea what I was even going to see, right? I hadn't seen the agenda. I didn't know, but people were like, Tim, you've got to get over here right now. You're going to love it. So I run over to the school and I'm sitting in the audience, and all of a sudden the rhythm starts. Right. And I'm like, oh, they're trying to get busy up in here in the middle of the day with these middle school kids. What are we feeling right now? And so all of a sudden, Dr. Humes comes on the stage and she lets out this billow, like this like insane amount of sound comes out of her. And so now I'm sitting here like, what? Like what? And what she went on to do in the, I don't know if it was a half hour, 45 minutes of what I saw in the show, was bring an extremely divided community all together for one purpose and one focus. And I was so impressed because the heat of racial tension was so thick that her ability to billow over all of that anger, all of that energy, all of that division, and bring everybody to a point where all we did was just enjoy this space together. I was like, she's going to be a part of every single thing I am able to do moving forward. So we got a very quick chance to share our information, and I was able to bring Dr. Humes to the district office. She's worked with my parent coordinators. She's worked with some of my families. We enjoy her immensely, but I wanted to give you guys a proper introduction because sometimes it's really important to know, well, where did Timothy even find this person? Why does he feel like this person is right for District 7? It's that she was already right for District 7 before I ever became aware of her work. And so I just found it to be a wonderful part of my mission to make sure that at every opportunity, I can bring Dr. Humes and I can bring Yaffa Cultural Arts to the families. You guys should really be looking to talk to your principals about making sure that you bring Yaffa Cultural Arts to your schools. Right? These Zoom meetings, anybody could be a part of these Zoom meetings, but even after COVID, really think about and enjoy the work that they do and think about how appropriate it is for multiple generations, multiple nationalities, multiple backgrounds where we all have like a different heritage and a different point of view on the world. But without any further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce you all to Dr. Linda Humes of Yaffa Cultural Arts.
Thank you so much, Timothy, for that introduction. I think we need to hire you as our agent. It
As
is,
long as it starts at 4:01 p.m. so they can't say I'm double dipping, I'm good to go.
oh my goodness, it is a pleasure to see some of the faces and even those of you who have your screen up. I know that you're there, and we're so happy. We are happy glad, as they say, to be able to be a part of Timothy's vision for healing in Community School District 7 because we all need healing. I need some healing. You need some healing. All God's people need some healing during this time of COVID, before COVID, and after COVID. And what's important is that we are reminded of our inner wisdom and resilience, and that we learn from each other of different strategies that we can use so that we can live our best lives yet. And so, for those of you who are administrators, for you to be the best leaders that you can be. For those of you who are educators, for you to be the best educators that you can be. For those of you who are parents, we have to put our masks on first, just like when we get in the airplane, right? We have to put our masks on first before we can help anyone. So the better we are, the better parents we can be, and the better our children will be. So I just hope that everybody is willing to play with us today, play with us Friday, play with us next Wednesday, play with us the following Wednesday, and play with us the last Wednesday. So I just want to see in the hands, put up in the chat, your hands. Are you willing to play? Are y'all willing to play with us for a few weeks? All right, now well, I don't see your hands. Put it up now in the reactions. I want to see those hands up. Okay, thank you, Monse. Is that how I pronounce your name?
Yes,
Yes. Oh,
I'm just cooking, and I don't want to be rude like that.
that no. Go ahead, cook your thing. Maybe you'll one of your
But
stories.
I'm a cook and dance because I know how you bring it to District 7. So I'm gonna be
Okay.
cooking and dancing at the same time. This is
And
some good food for my family.
well, listen, let me tell you something. Don't be surprised if you wind up sharing your story or a recipe during the workshop series, all right? And you will have some time to dance on Friday. So, you know what? Before we begin, because you know we're going to begin in tradition, and in tradition, always starts with the drum. And we're going to have a very special drum presentation today because the drum story today is going to talk about how the drum is a healing instrument and how we know that we can use music to just set the tone. You know, when we're feeling a little down, what do we want to listen to? When we want to get busy, what do we listen to? You know, when we need some inspiration. So music in itself is a healing tool. And so we will start with drum call. But before that, I just want everyone to know that we have some fantastic sharings that we will be doing in the next few weeks. And what I want to do is I will introduce her better later. But today, my co-facilitator is Clare Pernice. Claire, you wave at them. That beautiful lady over there. Yes, she is an award-winning illustrator, and she is the education director at the museum, Museum of Illustration. But she'll talk about that a little bit more, and she's going to lead us in the healing process of journaling. And then I know she doesn't want to show her screen today because she's just on in support. But Shakizana Cornegay is on. And she will be our facilitator next week, looking at how do we have a victorious mental state, you know, having a winning mentality. And then on this Friday, we're going to look at our health and fitness, and we're going to have some of the best divas in the city on talking about health and fitness. And when you come out of there on Friday, if you haven't been able to identify a fitness regimen or a some kind of fitness that you think you would like, then you just better just go to the couch because they're going to bring it. So I want to just share with you, firstly, that today our conversation is going to really center around the healing of our story. What kind of uh, drum story is healing? What kind of personal stories do you tell yourself that are healing, that are empowering? And what are the collective stories that bring us further along as humanity, right? And one of the ways that we can really have self identification, one of the ways that we can really tap into our self knowledge is through storytelling that we write, through journaling. And we have a very exciting journal. It's an e-journal that we have put together. It is actually a precursor to Yaffa's e-journal that will be available in April, but the journals that I hope that you will have, if not today, tomorrow, you will have a link to it. And this journal that Claire and I and Yaffa's office worked on is a journal to just for you to use as a guide uh, to how you can use writing, how you can use journaling for your own self journey, right? Your own self journey. So, what I'd like to do is share with you. How many of you are parents? How many of you are parents? Just let me see in the chat. Wave in the reactions. How many of you are parents? Okay. Yeah, Claire's not raising her hand, but we're but we are definitely parents. Our sons are best friends, so all of those are your parents. And it's very, very important for parents to support each other. All right, it's very, very important. And so, what I want to do is just offer a poem from one of my favorite poets, Kahil Gibran, that talks about parenting. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. So, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you master drummer Sanga of the Valley.
Greetings to one and all. Peace, love, tranquility. That's what we need in this time. And this is the drum. This drum is Jinbe. And Jinbe drum calls attention. It calls attention wherever you are in that zone as the wind picks up the sound and transports it to where it needs to go. So we're dealing with enough structure. So the rhythm says, and the rhythm sounds, and the people all gather because they know through the sound of the drum what's happening. So the sound, even in our times, we know from the sound what's happening. We hear a fire truck. We know that's different from the ambulance. We know it's different from the cop's car. We hear the train coming. We can tell if that's an express train or if that train is local. So in this time, the drum goes deep. You see, the drum, it has 5 notes. And we say bass, we say tone, we say tone, we say slap, and we say slap. So we have bass, tone, slap. But then you have 2 hands, right? So you work in the hands to create the level. Now the skin has a backbone from that animal, and that goes into your chakra. So once you line up the drum with the chakra, then the energy stays right there. And as you play the drum, you're actually saying something, right? So each drummer has a part to play in that rhythm to make the full rhythm. And each part, pull it out, has its own power. So when you hear the bottom drum, they call it the mama drum. The mama drum very low. Then you got the papa drum. You'll come above that with a little tone. Then you have the baby, which will cry. So all societies, when it comes to drum, is mama, papa, baby. Now some societies, mama is the ruler. When mama says so, not even papa can say anything. Some societies, when papa says so, mama has to. So Africa, the drum is the people, the voice of our ancestor. They don't call it the drum, it's the voice of the ancestor. So it got the name drum because it traveled, you know. In 1692, they took the drums away from the African people, from people of all nations with the drum, because what happened is the drums carried a message. That's a flowing rhythm. So when you hear that flowing rhythm, you know something is moving. Then you have a rhythm that would say, just a simple heartbeat. And everything moves from that heartbeat. So you know that it's something very, 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 very tender, right? Then you hear a rhythm with fire. So you know that's a lot of activity. So what happened to us as the drum was taken away? We bring the buckets, we bring the spoons, we bring the hand bone, we bring the body percussion, we bring all that stuff, but we come back to the drum. So the healing aspect of the drum is where the people responds. So if I'm playing sitting on 125th Street in Harlem and I'm just playing a rhythm, and I close my eyes, in 5 minutes I can open my eyes and there'll be a bunch of people around me. And just that one beat, it just soothes the heart. And as the heart gets soothed, the body gets lighter. And all the problems and the troubles, they leave. But once that drum stops, if that person doesn't keep that movement, then the troubles come back until they get another section of healing, which is, many, many healings. So when the drummer plays, the dancer dances. So you have the drum and the dance and then the voice. So the voice is the first drum. So you take from the voice, I'm playing the drum, it's my voice coming through the drum. So if I want to say it to the crowd, it's a beautiful day. Have me a beautiful day. If I want to say to the crowd, there's something that we need to really focus on, I'll play something like a Nyabingi. So they won't be jumping and wiggling and dancing. They'll be calling to attention. Wow. Then, of course, comes the song of healing, So all of our music, all of our dances tell significant stories of the culture of the people. So this is Jinbe Drum. It's a Muslim drum. You have all types of drums. Everyone have their own drum. But like I said, in 1692, they stopped the drum. So the drums went through a lot of changes. But what happened, the church incorporated it and all the little things we do around incorporated. And now we have the drum back from 1959. Babatunde Olatunji made the album Drums of Passion. So the drums came alive in 1959, and everybody wanted drums and drums and drums. And Cuban drums came, and they all came. But whatever drum there is, we have our 5 notes. Goon, go, do, pa, ta. So everybody say goon, go, do, goon, go, do, goon, go, do, goon, go, do. So you see the drums speak the language of the people, you see? So the voice of the ancestor. So, like I said, drumming is universal, and the healing of the drum comes from the tone of the drum. So if it's a bass sound, you might come from a culture where mama drum is the lead. You respond there. If you like high stuff, you know, these are like the Latino people. They like it hot stuff, you know. And when it comes to us here in the United States, we break it down to simply funk. So when you hear the drum say boom, 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 boom. And then the hip hoppers came and they took the drum and they brought it back into existence in this machine called a drum machine. So, but it came from right here, from this drum, the goat skin, the wood, which comes from the tree. You see, they hollow it out and they put the goat skin on the top, they tie it with the rope, and they put the rim. So we have all our music, you know. Naya Bingi is a rhythm that created reggae music. Shango, that created calypso music. When it comes to gospel, you know, we have the mambo, we have all these rhythms that music came from. So the drum, the first instrument man ever made, will keep healing people and healing people. So they're not going to take it away anymore because now we're going to hug our drums. So if you have a drum, you hug your drum, you take your drum out and you play your drum. You don't need a bunch of people. And you will see the healing will start. People will start drinking and smiling after COVID. So I just want to say, I'm the drum, you're the drum, and we're the drum. You see? So I'm going to ask my director how much time I have. So my director said, go on, man, kick it. So, you know, with the drumming thing, what we have to understand is that it's not just a piece of lumber and it's not just the skin, it's the spirit of the tree, okay? The spirit of the animal, which is the skin, and the spirit of the person playing the instrument that makes it a complete sound, you see? Other than that, people just making sounds, like people talking to you, but they're not making sense, but then someone will speak to you and it would make sense. So as we play little rhythms, we can heal ourselves by just these tones that we say. You know, like you say, goon go do, goon go do, goon go do, goon go do. Can we try something? Can we try something, everybody? You guys are down? Okay. You repeat after me, right? I'm gonna say it once, you say it 4 times. Goon go do,
Kungoto.
go do, goon go do. Can you hear me and everything? Okay. Now you're gonna say goon go do goon. I say it again.
Go, boom.
Yeah. Goon go do goon. Right? We're gonna say it 4 times. 5, 6, ready, say. Goon go do goon. Goon go do goon. 2 more. Goon go do goon. 1 more. Goon go do goon. Yes. So that's the language of the drum. The goon, the go, the do, the fa, and the ta. So you say, I'm the drum, you're the drum, we're the drum. Because it takes your hands, my hands, to make the sound. You see? And it wouldn't make a sound unless someone comes to it, you know, and put their hands on it. So once we put our hands on it, we have the power. And we send positive energy. And people anywhere will dance. And some people say, oh, I'm not that good. No, it's not about being good or bad. It's about just letting your hands touch the instrument, sending the love. And you have to take some classes like the flute, the piano, you see? So we're going to do this, right? We're going to do this. Point to yourself, say, I'm the drum.
I'm the drum.
Yes. Point to somebody in the room or a statue or a photograph and say, you're the drum.
You're the drum.
Nice. Now take your index finger and put it to the sky and make a circle, like a halo, and say, we're the drum.
We're the drum.
Right. So I'm going to show you, right? It's like this. I'm the drum. You're the drum. We're the drum, right? So we're going to sing this to the world, right? And we're going to do it 4 times, right? I'm going to give you a beat. I'm going to give you a count. One, two, one, two, three. Everybody say, I'm the drum, you're the drum, we're the drum. Everybody, everybody. I'm the drum, you're the drum, we're the drum. I see you there. I'm the drum, you're the drum, we're the drum. One more time. I'm the drum, you're the drum, we're the drum. Give yourself a hand. And you see, yes, yes. And you see, we're the drum. So anywhere we go, it's not basically about the lumber with the skin. It's about your heart. And as your heart beats, that's the rhythm of your soul. You could take that rhythm and put it on the drum. If your heart's racing, you just calm it down. If you're too calm, you speed up. Put some energy in there, So it works with the instrument, but I'm the drum. You're the drum. We're the drum. And as we think about that, we send good vibes. When I see someone, I say, hey, they say, Sanga, you always up, man. What's up with that? Because I'm the drum, you see? And wherever I go, I can say boom, 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 bop. You see, we had a song, I'm going to leave you, but we had a song that says, we don't need no music. We got conga. I think it was Curtis Mayfield. Music. We got conga. So when I heard that song, I said, we don't need no music. We got conga. It means if all the lights go out, you could still have the party when the drummer's in the house. So we got you. Peace, love, and serenity. Stay safe. All right? I'm going to turn you back over to Professor, Doctor, Sister, Mama, dog owner.
So, folks, while we do a quick transition, can we just give some District 7 jazz snaps
Yes,
for
yes.
Sanga of the Valley? That was really wonderful. It is always great to not only be entertained, but to also be educated at the same time. That was really amazing. And so, one of the things that we're doing right now is we're going to make sure that we don't get any microphone feedback. So, Dr. Humes, it's fine to turn off that laptop. I'm admitting you on your other device right now. Just make sure that that laptop is turned all the way off and we'll be good to go. And so while we wait for that, I want to announce, we have these amazing workshops that are, culturally diverse and exciting and engaging, happening every day with District 7 at this same link of Zoom at 3:30 Monday through Friday for the whole month of March. All right. And as you heard Dr. Hume say previously, she's going to be with us. Multiple times. So if you check our District 7 calendar, and I'm going to put the website address in the chat. If you check our District 7 calendar, you'll be able to see all the cool things that are coming up. All right. So let me see. Dr. Humes, I am going to now share co-host ability with you. It should pop up on your screen in just a moment, and that will allow you to share your screen.
Fantastic. Let's give another round of applause for Baba Sanga of the Valley with
Yes.
that healing drum story. All right, all right, all right. How many minutes do we have, Mr. Coleman? Oh, you're on mute.
And here's me always trying to tell everybody else when to not mute. So every time
20.
I'm asked that question, I'm always left with like, well, I'm enjoying this. You tell me how many minutes we have. You control it. But for the workshop, we actually have about 25 to 30 more minutes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so in that case, let me do this on steroids, and then I'm gonna hand it over to my dear friend Clare. This is something that I really want us to start thinking about. The stories that we tell ourselves are very, very important. So those stories are those thoughts. Sometimes we'll say things to ourselves that we would not say to our worst enemy. And what that does is it creates what the Buddhists call hell states. It could cause anger. It causes jealousy. It causes you to maybe feel bad about yourself, judgment, all of the emotions that are not light, love, joy, peace, right? All of the thoughts that tell you that you are not wonderfully and perfectly made, right? All of the thoughts that tell you what you cannot do, what will not happen, all the projections of all the most horrible things you can imagine, right? So, part of our work together over the next few weeks will be looking at those thoughts and looking at those stories that we tell ourselves, and then looking at how we can observe them and then decrease them. Uh, what can we add? What can we supplement to that so that that voice, or as the Chinese and the Japanese, they call it the monkey mind gets calm, right? And then it's replaced with these other thoughts and these other affirmations. And instead of the projections, we have the visualization of how we see ourselves, how we see our children, how we see our community, how we see our world. Not only is it very, very important what stories we tell ourselves, it's very, very important what stories we tell others. Yes? And a lot of the times, the stories that we even tell ourselves are not all our fault. It's because of a dominant story that has an agenda that is against us. So I want us to think about a few different kinds of stories. We have a dominant story. Now, the dominant story is the story that the dominant group in a society tells to hold on to its power and money and resources. Many times that story is an out and out lie. Many times that story, the intention of that story is to malign, to socialize, to put fear in others, to conquer and divide. Then there are those concealed stories. Those concealed stories that sometimes are known by the subordinate groups, but are not known by the population, in totally, that are in total, that's totally not aligned with that dominant story, right? And sometimes those concealed stories are the stories that we really need to tell, because those are the stories that tell us, uh, where our power is. So I'm going to give you an example. How many of you have ever heard of Sylvia Mendez? Just put your hand up. Sylvia Mendez. Okay. So in this group of highly intelligent, one person, Monsi, right? Monsi, do you want to share with the group who Sylvia Mendez is, because she's still alive? Monsi grew in those pots.
Monse.
She's grew in those pots. So
Yes, she's probably.
yes, but Sylvia Mendez, all right, she is of Puerto Rican and Mexican ancestry. She was a little girl living in North Carolina in the 1950s, right? And she was not allowed to go to the public schools. There's only certain schools that she was allowed to go to, being that she was Latina, right? So her parents literally sued, went and had a case, Mendez versus the Board of Education. Who was involved with that case? Thurgood Marshall.
Antonia Pantoja was involved. I know we're not playing a Jeopardy game, but Antonia Pantoja. I'm sorry. I did hear you call me out, but
yes. So, yes, because I wanted you to share. So basically, Monse, what I'm trying to get at here, which right, is that case was won. And then that was, help me now, Monte, how many years before Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954? And Thurgood Marshall used that case to to win Brown versus the Board of Education? How come we don't know? How come more of us don't know about her?
Because it's not set up in our system to understand these kind of situations, because then it would be giving power to the people who actually are from this land.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
I don't have the exact number or year of when it was before, but I do know that Antonia Pantoja, who is the founder of Aspira, was part of this case. That I
Absolutely.
do remember and know.
Yes. So you see, okay. Now there's also something called counter stories, okay? And counter stories, you might hear a lot in the news about critical race theory. So the idea of counter stories really sprouted as a part of putting together a legal narrative that was more in line with rec- accepting and recognizing institutionalized discrimination. So when we look at counter storytelling literally counters the stereotypes and the lies of the dominant story. So again, here we are, and this could be a counter story or a concealed story. When we look at Hidden Figures, how many of you saw the movie Hidden Figures? Right, okay, about the three African American females, and this is Women's Month, that were mathematicians and scientists. And if it was not for them, we would not have gone into space. We wouldn't have went to the moon. Now, this is the thing. I'm dating myself now, but I don't care. I was a little girl in the 60s watching black and white television. Now, me, I'm not about no man. I don't care if I would have seen a whole series on African American female scientists and mathematicians. That would have never been me. But what about some of my peers who maybe had an inkling, maybe had an interest, maybe were good at math and science, but did not see anyone except for the actress on Star Trek, right? Who did a lot. There's a documentary too out now that's amazing of how many people she empowered by her image and what she did. But how many young girls of color at that time, and even girls, period, who were told, "Oh no, you're not good for math, you don't do science," would have been empowered to go into STEM if they had just seen some of those images, right? So I just want to leave you all with that to start thinking and looking at the dominant story, how dangerous sometimes the dominant story is, but then how empowering and healing counter and concealed stories are, right? And part of the way that we can process all of this is through journaling. So I am going to turn it over now to my dear friend Claire, who's going to talk to us and lead us in how some of us might already journal, some of us, might need to get back to it or find a different, more creative way to journal, right? So again, I said I would say more wonderful things about her later. And so I am right now. And she is just an amazing educator and visual artist in her own right. And so please put your hands in your chats and your claps together for Claire Pernice.
Thank you. Thanks. Linda, are we going to share the journal on a screen or?
Yes, I'm going to share screen and let me know when you're ready.
Okay, will do. Okay, so I'm going to speak a little bit about what I do and how my approach might help you, because I am actually more geared towards working with children. I write and illustrate children's picture books. And actually my first book is a very positive message for girls. And I have another book that I'm working on that's going to be the same sort of feel, and it's for boys. But the first book that I wrote was actually inspired by my daughter, who liked to dress up and become all these different characters when she was little. A lot of girls do. They dress up and they become, superheroes. They become circus acts, which was one of the things my daughter really enjoyed doing. She liked doing tumbling and acrobatics. And I wanted to send a message that using your dreams and your imagination is a very good place to start for making things actually come to fruition. So it all starts with that little seed of your passions, what makes you happy. One of the top tips that I was given by an editor when I started writing and illustrating picture books is write what you love, write what you know. So I really took that on, and I thought, well, my family back in England, I'm British, loved dressing up as well. We did a lot of costume parties. In fact, our New Year's Eve big party of the year, whether we went out somewhere or we hosted something, we were all dressing up in some sort of theme. I can't tell you how many times we were pirates. Anything that was easy to grab, right? It was always fun to be a cat. At Halloween, I was always a cat. I always managed to stick some ears on a headband and paint on a nose and whiskers. But you can transform yourself and have fun with very minimal things. And actually writing is also pared down to very minimal things that are needed as in your toolbox. So what you need is papers or a journal, your pencil, your favorite pen, something that feels nice to hold in your hand, and time, a good time of the day. You know, I really do think, and a lot of scripters and journalists, they do write early in the morning. Sometimes that's not practical. You've got little kids, not really practical, but maybe later on at night, just when the day isn't so busy and you can sort of wind down a little bit, maybe listen to music. As we heard, music is a very good way to sort of reset yourself. If you've had a really busy and distracting day, you want to sort of have your mind focused on what's a subject that you might want to be writing about. So we're starting this session with storytelling, and it's really your story. So I actually like to use this tool that there is a PDF that you will be able to download, and it's called a heart focus wheel. I don't know if any of you have ever done this sort of a project before, but I always like to start off with positive. Let's talk about positive. It's how children are naturally in the world. They are curious, they are energized, they want to know things and they want to see the good in things. And I think that if you start off with your heart's focus wheel, you're going straight to the core of what is in your heart. And I like to start off with 3 words, and you start everything with a positive affirmation of I am. So for example, you know, I've done this before many times, and I write in the little heart 3 words, and I might say something like, I am happy, I am authentic, I am empowered. You know, think of 3 words that are going to be your little mantra for the year. You write those words inside that heart, and you write I am just above it. And then you're going to start doing lines which radiate out like a sun's rays. And you could do 10, like you could do 1 and you know, like you know, a compass, top and sides, and then some radiating out. You might have more things that come to mind as you start writing these down, but this is a lovely way to start to put your ideas down before you start writing in your actual journal that you're going to have. Dr. Humes created
something.
Sorry? Dr. Humes created this for you guys to download, and there are lots of you to write in your actual journal. But this little sheet, this one sheeter, is where you can write things like, say, for example, a lot of people when they start the year, they want to think about healthier lifestyle, so they might think, I am more balanced, I am content. And you can also put in things about people that mean a lot to you, or your goals with work, or do you want to attract abundance? So you can actually say the words, I am accomplishing my goals and I am acquiring wealth. You can start to say those things and write those on your focus wheel. And I really do feel, as many people know, that the power of positive thinking is a powerful tool for attraction. So the more that you're thinking positively and feeling centered, and maybe starting your day with that little mantra, the more you're likely to radiate that energy out into the world and make other people attracted to you and your positive energy. I find this actually to be quite something that that during days when I'm working with kids, because I teach Zoom classes online, and actually at the museum I teach some social distancing classes as well with masks in person, and just being around kids, and of course I'm teaching them about drawing and illustrating, which kids love to do. So we've got all our art materials and we're drawing together. That really is a very positive energy for me, and I feed off their energy and their little inspirations, and that sort of resets me. So even if I've had a bad day and some adults are causing me chaos, those kids can really bring me down to the simple things that are important in life, you know, looking at things with curiosity. 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds love to tell you about the simplest things, like rocks they've seen, or, you know, watching an insect. They notice all of these things. They're on their level more. And I think by journaling, you can start to open up those little doors that were there all along since you were a small child, you know, to sort of like tap back into who you are, who is your authentic self. Also, as Dr. Hume said, you know, we have to have a counter story. So you have to forgive yourself for maybe some of the negative things that happened, and you know, really go there as well. Don't be afraid. Another way to do this visually, because I'm a visual artist, is to do collaging. You can do a dream board where you just get some magazines, or, you know, you can print off the computer images that speak to you. You could just Google flowers, for example, or get a horticultural magazine or something. You start cutting out anything that is appealing to you, and that will start a page of inspirations that you can sort of then look at what is really making me happy. Why do I keep pasting pictures of beaches in the Caribbean? Maybe that's your dream. You want to go there. So why not have that as your goal for the year? I'm going to make that happen. And then the counterpart to that is to do a forgiveness collage, where you might be cutting out things that are dark. Why am I cutting out space, or you know, burned forests, or skeletons? There are reasons for that. And when you look at that, like what is now appearing on your page is like, oh, where do I need to sort of park some things, and sort of just like not let those things overtake my positive thinking for the year. So sometimes really putting these things down on paper, whether you're writing or doing anything with collaging, I feel like that really does create reality for you, because it's one thing to be in the monkey brain, as Dr. Hume said. You know, you're thinking, you might be driving, or you might be on a bus, you might be thinking, or on a train, and you're thinking of all these things. There's no space for you to think of these more positive things and your goals. So to write them down is the way to really start to have those things become real. And I also like to end on the bottom of the you know, this little printout, with not only you doing all of these positive goals for yourself, but those around you need to also have these positive things happening for them. So at the bottom it says this or something better for the greater good of all. So you write that out again, because you're writing it just reinforces that message. And I really think that we have to try and see the better in people, even if we're surrounded with difficult people. Sometimes the difficult people in our lives are there to mirror things that we need to work on. Sometimes they're there to counteract, for example, somebody who might be a very loud person and you're a very quiet person. Maybe there's something in that you need to have a moment where you can speak louder, and you're going to learn something from that person, and vice versa. That person might learn how to be a little quieter and take a note from your book. So our opposites can really help us as well. So I'm ready to share the journal that we've created. So Dr. Humes wrote this journal. She created it. She's got tips. She's got beautiful inspirations. So you can see and read all of the inspirations that, you know, the quotes at the back of the journal. I created a lot of the visual illustrations. I have many different styles. I work in watercolor, ink and pen. I do pencils. So I do a lot of different styles, realism and cartooning. I love it all. I love collage as well. So there's some little illustrations that in there as well for you to enjoy. So Dr. Humes, if you're ready to share the...
Okay, you know what? Before that, because you have shared so many things, I just want to pick up on some of the things that you said that was just so important.
Yes,
First
please
of
do.
all, your heart focus wheel, Mr. Coleman, we will make sure that you get a copy of it. But then what I'm thinking is we could add it on, in with some instructions to the journal,
Yeah.
because I think that would be very, very helpful for
Mhm.
everyone. And also, what when you talked about the I am statements, that the I am is the most powerful affirmation because it is in the present. See, our mind, and see, what I want to say is that everything that Claire shared, it's at the tip of, art therapy, right? And also it's scientific. This is not mumbo jumbo. Yaffa the arts and education, so they're artsy fartsy, and this is all just, fun and games. There's science to all of what we are sharing with you today. And our brains really does not know the difference from what's happening or reality or what we're projecting. So the I am is actually putting your state of mind right where you want it to be, even if in the physical that's not happening. So it's a very, very positive way to inform your subconscious, right? So the I am statements are very powerful and they're scientific, right? Number one. Number two, I think week 4, you all will be able to do your own vision boards with one of our other colleagues, Sandra Bell, and that is what Claire was referring to by using the collages. But it's also very, very powerful what she was saying, that so we have to kind of dig in and get the murk out, so that we don't judge ourselves, and then be able to look at that dark side too, so we can clean it up, right? So all of these things are just so positive. I mean, it's science. That's what I really want us to understand, that this is scientific, and it's healing. Yes.
Yeah.
So, did you want to
So really quick,
look at?
I apologize, Dr. Humes. Really, really quick, we have a hand up from one of our parents, Miss
Oh,
Shamika Henson.
fantastic! Can I stop this? Stop. Well, yeah. Let me stop share. Do you want to look at the journal? We'll look at the journal, right? So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, definitely. I just want to see what my parent wanted to
yeah,
ask really quick.
let's get a question here, and then
Yeah,
we'll go.
question.
How are you? No, it was, I'm sorry, for my name is Shamika. It was more so a remark.
Yes,
Because, what she was basically saying, this is something that I actually took on from before my past. Instead of actually having like a journal, I actually have like a vision wall in my room. And this is something that I can say has actually like really helped me per se, like going down. So as she's speaking, I'm sitting in my room. I'm gonna turn the camera real quick. I don't know if you guys can see me.
Oh,
Oh,
but
yes.
so this is, so as she's speaking, I'm like, look, this is my room within it. So excuse me, it's not. So this is something, honestly, my kids, they look, eat the pictures. So this is something that we actually like, we go by, we live by. It's something that actually really does help. And more so, it, instead of mom, as you can see, being an I am, it's also good. I have like quotes and things around from my kids saying things, or mommy, you're the best, or mommy, just
Yes.
look up, or sister, I got you. So I'm also, like I said, it's not so just me looking at myself. I bought like the little bubble things, and I had other people just write, people that I felt like I held dear to my heart. I had them write something. So like before I changed my room around, honestly, when I stepped my foot out my bed, that was the first thing that I saw.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So once I was able actually like to kind of like, honestly, that's what made me change my room around, because I honestly found myself getting into a better space. So now if you notice, my bed is on the other side now, to where it's like now I'm here, but I still have everything in the background. If I show you my girls' room, they have LED lights, they have where we're friends, but like I said, we use walls instead of the paper. But like I said, God, it helps. It really, just to have that, when you second guess yourself and you feel like you're alone, you have that little paper. Like I said, I just look up.
Yes.
That's
I
Tamika,
sometimes it's hard.
Yes.
So it's like, it's one
Tamika,
of those.
I
I just wanted
applaud
to share
you
that real
so
quick.
much. Shamika, I'm so happy that you shared that with us, and I applaud you for
Thank
that,
you.
because you know what? It's also part of education, as Mr. Coleman can tell you. We can walk in a classroom, we can, before we can even look at a lesson or see a teacher, all you have to do is look at the room. I could go into a school and I
Yes.
can tell what kind of school it is, and Claire can contest to that
So
just by
true.
walking in and seeing what's
Yes.
in the walls. Because if you see it enough, then you begin to, believe it, right? And that's even with the terminology, that's, creating a culture. I am a scholar, I am brilliant, I am successful, I am whatever it is, and
Yes.
then by them, like you said, the first thing in the morning, what you see, just like at night, the first thing to go to bed, you go to bed, the last thing that you're listening to, it's all kinds of destruction and MSNBC and CNN, then that's going to mess you up, right? So, Shamika, thank you so much for that. And
Yeah.
then it just reminds me also, and then we're going to share with you, believe me. But this is another thing that Claire mentioned that is so important, is for other people, right? So, there was an experiment done by scientists now, not no rabbis or imams or pastors, okay, where they put water in glasses, and then they had a respondent group that they didn't really do much with the water or whatever. Then they had another group that they prayed over the water. The molecules changed. The
Oh
molecules
yes.
changed.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Dalai Lama says, I seek enlightenment for the sake of all souls. That's one of the mantras that he says is very, very powerful. And that's what we need, right? Because guess what? We might not be able to change the minds of some of these people who seem like they're in such a dark place. But if more of us think positive, yes, they can change, or I
Yeah.
seek enlightenment, and we seek enlightenment, it's more of the light pushing away the darkness. So it is
Yeah.
important for us to pray and affirm for those who we're close to, those, and Claire, you're so right, even those that might get on our last nerve, they're there to teach us a lesson. And then those, like you said, the adults that are giving us chaos, and the administrators, I know you'll probably say, kids don't give me trouble, it's my coworkers, it's the adults that give me grief, right? But sometimes, and some of you might attest to this, sometimes you might have a coworker, you might have a relative that you just can't make them see anything. But if you start either affirming on it, or visualizing on it, or praying on it, and you change in the way that you react to them,
Yeah. Yeah.
they change, and the situation changes. You see what I'm saying?
No choice. I have no choice.
Right, right. So there's power in it. There's power in it. So okay, I'm gonna share now the journal, so that you can have an idea of how to use your journal.
I was thinking, Linda, as it's more words, perhaps you want to speak to it,
Okay, well we'll talk together, because
Yeah.
this is a partnership. We created this journal together. So just 1 minute, and you know what? Everybody, just put in your chat. Timothy Coleman is a rock star. For our
Yeah.
Spanish colleagues and our Spanish friends, he went and translated the whole thing. Like I don't know, it just so quickly into Spanish.
Nice.
I'm so
Yay.
impressed.
Yeah.
I love my families, and I know, we keep it real with each other, So I know if we put something out there and it's only on one level, the very next morning when I get ready to show up to work, I'm gonna have to walk through a Soul Train line of rib cage punches. You're gonna get it on the left, you're gonna get it on the right. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh goodness. So I trust that everybody will have the link. If not, if you already don't have the link to
Oh,
your
and I
journal.
and I apologize, Dr. Humes. I'm gonna send it to everyone as soon as this is over. I didn't get a
Fantastic.
chance to send it prior to the meeting, but just so everybody knows, I'm gonna send it to everyone in both English and Spanish, so that any of the colleagues that the friends, the parents, the community members, share it far and wide, so that other folks get a chance to be blessed by the journal as well.
All right. So I'm not going to go through this. You all can read this on your own. This is just basically a statement about the journal. And then this is how to use this My Right to Heal journal. And like I shared, this journal that you all have has been tweaked and custom specifically for Community School District 7. And then Yaffa is coming out with our official a journal in April, which will be available for sale, $15 on our YouTube channel, and we'll have a special link for that. So again, this is just helpful tips, and Claire has already, said some of these tips. Creating a time a day that you can journal. You'll be hearing this throughout our weeks together, but there's another magic tip, the 30-day tip, right? I don't know how many of you know about that 30-day, but any habit or routine that you want to bring in your life, if you could stick with it for 30 days, it gets in your body, it gets in your mind, and then it almost is like, you don't even have to think about it. So what we say is attempt to commit. If you miss a day or so, it's understandable, but attempt to commit to 30 days. And then it becomes something that, I feel that I am missing it if I don't do it, right? Don't worry about grammar or how it looks or whatever. It's for your eyes only. It's for you to just get your heart on the paper, right? And then some people, they don't like to, work cursively. They want to do it on the computer, and if that's the case, fine.
And
Claire,
Dr.
you want to
Johnson, we
add
don't
to
see,
that?
we don't see the actual journal. I see
You
your,
don't see it?
no, if you could double click, or I could share my screen. I actually have it up as well.
Oh, okay. So yes, why don't you share your screen?
All right, here we go. Hold
Because
on one
again, you're better. I'm up here just talking and talking, and I thought
second.
I
No,
have
it's
it.
totally
I
okay.
can see it on mine, but
It's totally okay.
well, I did okay with the heart focus, so
You've done amazing. Yes, you've done amazing. No. You've done
I got
amazing.
that
Trust
one
me.
up.
Trust me. No, don't worry. Here we
I'm just
go.
talking and talking.
There we go. All right, let me make this bigger. Okay, families, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that's the first page. So now we're on, I think, the second page.
Okay, so here we go.
Yes, see, this is where we are.
All right.
Yeah. Claire, did you want to say something, or were you just telling me that we couldn't see nothing?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. All right. Oh
I'm going
boy.
to tell you, hey, we can't see it. But
Oh my goodness.
so this is the tips, and basically it's just showing you some ideas about how to go forward with your journaling. It's good to just read a little bit through that first, because you want to have the mindset that, yes, I'm really doing this with some intention. And also, I do think just a constant stream of just writing is very, very important. So it's really just emptying your vessel of thoughts rather than having to sit there and think about, oh, I must write this in a certain way. I even wrote my first children's book in a constant stream of thought, and then later sort of edited it a bit, but I didn't start writing it like it was a school essay where I had to correct everything all the way along or worry about that. It's really about sort of getting thoughts out, what's on your mind, or to give yourself some sort of direction, and begin your journaling with, something might be upsetting you. You do need to get that out. So don't hold that in, let that come out on the page. And if you don't want to hang on to it, throw it away. But it's better out than in, as they say. If you've got a day that you want to start off, and you just want to start off with something really positive, I do think turning to the focus of what's in your heart is a really good way to start writing, and just thinking about just a few things that are really important to you that should happen to you this year. It could even be about family. If you have a sick relative, you might be wanting to put your thoughts on that and say, I am supporting my grandmother who is going through a difficult time. I see my grandmother as her healthy. You try your best to put all of the positive energy onto the page and just start writing in that way. you know, there's this little tiger I painted that's sort of thoughtfully lying on this log to give you an idea of the calm mindset you could try to start the day with.
You know, just looking at the lion soothes my heart. You know, just you just look like you just want to pet him or cuddle up next to him. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, the next slide, please. Thank you.
So
Okay, so this is, you know, this is tailored for you all. And you can write that, you know, you can read it, you know, at your own leisure. And when we get to the next slide, then we'll give you some tips. Okay, this was Cahill Gablan's on children that I read to you all earlier.
it's beautiful, yeah, beautiful.
And so this is the page that looks at what we talk about today. So you could start, you know, journaling about your experience in our workshop today. And again, Dalai Lama, kind of like the Dalai Lama, right? He says the planet does not need more successful people. The planet desperately needs more peacemakers, healers, restorers, storytellers, and lovers of every kind. And I think that is at the heart of character education, and it's also at the it's so timely for for right now, because we see all these people in high positions that might not have their character together, right?
Right.
Okay. Next, do you want to say anything there? Okay. So this one is for Friday, right? The next couple of ones, because it deals with our health. Okay, you can continue, right? That's the dancing frog. Okay, again with the exercise, how we keep ourselves healthy, even in the midst of this COVID, right? Keeping ourselves healthy, right? And then next week we start with our mentality, right? Our strong mentality, our resilience, and we start with gratitude. And again, you know, with the gratitude piece, we have, you know, what's really important about gratitude is that it is so magical and it's universal to all belief systems. All belief systems. Yes, Mr. Coleman is going to send you all by email the link. So this is looking at the winning mentality. You'll be dealing with that next week.
And what I love, Dr. Humes and Claire, is that this winning mentality, managing your feelings, what's really wonderful as a carry through theme for this entire month is the management of our feelings and our own personal well-being and how that well-being affects other people. So on Monday of this week, when we started, it was about, you know, managing the emotions and feelings of our children, especially during COVID, and how the management of that affects the household, right? We've been in the house for a long time, or some people have been in the house for a really long time now, you know, and so emotions are running high, and things that you may have had patience for, now you're just like completely, you know, blowing a gasket. So I love that this book is also reinforcing things that other partners of District 7 are talking about and doing, but you're the only one that is supplying our families with a way to capture all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions in one location. So this is really, really wonderful what you're doing for the community.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, because you know, there's a district in San Francisco where 22 of their students, aging from, like, I think the youngest was like 6 or 7 years old up, committed suicide. I mean, we're in a crisis as far as parents and children, and the children are just as stressed out as can be with the online. You know, so this is a big issue right now.
Yeah, and
And
so and I want to just throw a quick time check. Like we've got about 5 more minutes. So if
okay,
we,
all
yeah.
right. So let me just go to the next slide. Okay, again, this, you know, we can keep on going because you'll have it, but let's kind of go down a little bit further to the to where it says the quotes. the next one. I'm sorry. Yeah, keep on going. This is all mental health, and then also our vision board. Inspirational quotes. We have 3 pages of inspirational quotes, and many of these inspirational quotes have to do with gratitude, because that's how powerful gratitude is. So whatever our situation is, your grandmother, your abuela, whatever might have said, oh, there's always someone got it worse. But this is real. No matter what our situation is, if we can look at, accentuate the positive and leave the negative alone, right? If we can
Keep it real.
gratitude,
That's right. That's right.
exactly,
Go
the
ahead, Linda.
gratitude, then that helps again to attract more of what we really want in our lives, right? When we concentrate on what we have. And it's almost like some of the parents, you might have said to your children, they might have clothes or maybe a game, and they want something new. And you say to them, well, you have to take care of what you have first, right? So that's what's important. That's what the universe says to us too. You be a good steward of what you have, and then you can get more, right? Or you can have peace with what you have, and that peace will then get you through the day. Sometimes we are going through things. I know we have to leave this moment. I just want to say this. There's some.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. I'm not trying to shut you up. I apologize. I know that looked like okay. It's
No, but I
wrapping up.
understand. But I just want to say this. There's some of us that are going through such dire tragedies that it's not about getting through the day. It's how do we get through the second? How do we get through the moment?
Thank you.
So what we're attempting and to share with you and have this conversation is, what can we pull down? What can we pull down to get us through the moment, right? There are people who are grieving. There are people who are having health issues, or trouble with their marriages, with their children, etc., economic. But how do you heal your heart to just get through the moment? You get through the moment, then you get to the hour, then you get to the day, right? But that is something that I think that we really need to look at, even as a collective, even as a country. We need to be healed, and like Claire said so beautifully, sometimes we have to look at the darkness. It's like any 12-step program. The first thing they do is accept and acknowledge what they are, so that they can then clean it up. If we don't acknowledge what it is, we cannot clean it up, and we cannot heal it. So don't be afraid of the dark. We've got to look at the dark so that we can pull it out. So everybody who's on, I hope to see you on Friday. Can I just see your hands, reactions? How many of you are going to play with us on Friday? None of y'all going to come back and hang out with us on Friday?
Oh, there we go. That's amazing. And folks, I just want to take a moment. We want to just give some jazz snaps to Sanga of the Valley.
Yay.
Right, for starting us off today.
Yes.
All right, that was amazing. The rhythm. I want to give a really amazing double-handed snap to Dr. Linda Humes for leading this today. I want to say a special thank you to Claire. Is it Pernice? Is that how I say your last name? Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Thank you for the illustrations. Best of luck with your book. You're more than welcome to come and visit our family anytime you choose. All right, during the month and beyond. And we look forward to seeing you guys all again on Friday. Thank you to my parents.
I'm taking a picture so that I could send it to my son so he could see Miss Claire and I together.
Now I came back. Again, Linda. Take it
here you go. Now we got to look at this.
On the line. Who loves you to death. And I think
take one more
What
shot.
did you cook?
Who will listen?
Monte.
Principal who will listen.
Monte, what did you cook?
And Melanie, I'm sorry, I got out of character.
What did you cook?
Oh, we're vegetarians here, so it's not that interesting, but it's spinach and pasta and eggplant parmesan.
Ooh, yummy.
Yum.
See,
She's
Yeah,
when
talking
we
about
get
us on
them out of
Insta.
this COVID, we're gonna
And
have
I'm
to
still
come for
gaining
the
weight with the whole
potluck.
vegetarian thing. I don't understand that, but whatever.
No, that's what's up, especially after this
No,
COVID.
but seriously,
We need
Linda, like
some vegetables.
we appreciate you. I'll
Thank
let
you.
Tim talk because I'm a chatterbox.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, this is how we do it. It's all about love. It's all about keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not about like us preaching to people. It's like this is a community conversation. So I love you guys. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining us today and for showing love to our guests. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Have a great day, everybody.
Timothy, real quick,
Oh,
Timothy. You
yes,
see
ma'am.
how I said something about my vision wall, right? Look at my
Yes.
door now. Look, everybody, just wait. Look, let me turn the camera real quick. Sorry, guys. My door as well. Look, when you come to my house, look.
With
Oh,
love,
See,
that's
That's
great.
sunshine.
beautiful. Snapchat.
I keep the love everywhere. Like I said, straight through my door. That's what I teach my kids. Straight through the door, even out the house. As you go your way, you keep a positive mind frame. Sometimes you need that reassurance. So to keep the
Yeah.
bad juju out, I tell people you better read my door before you
Love it.
come in
Love
my
it.
That's
That's
real
what's
for us.
up.
Give your heart
That's
some
real
love.
for us.
That's
Yes,
what's
yes,
up.
yes. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great week.
But thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
We'll see you on Friday.
Perfect.
Linda. Bye, Tim. Thank you. It was a pleasure.